you're going to record on your end.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start recording on my end. All right. All right, let's just, since we're going to pretend to do this at the same time. Ready? Uno,
All right.
dos, tres.
Dos.
Oh, that was solid. All right. Okay. Tengo que practicar mi español. No, we're not going to do it in Spanish.
Wow.
Estudiaba en España cuando tenía 15 años.
In España? Where
En
in
Madrid.
Spain?
En Madrid.
In Madrid.
Madrid.
I love Madrid. Madrid. My
A
boyfriend is from Madrid.
veces hablo así.
A veces con la F y eje en Madrid, la cosa es así.
Can you tell us who you are, where you are, and what you do?
I'm Silvana Estrada. Right now I'm in Washington, D.C. because I'm in the middle of this nice tour with Rodrigo y Gabriela. And I'm a singer-songwriter from Veracruz, Mexico. And this is actually my first time touring the United States. And I'm really nervous because my English is really bad. And this will be my first podcast in English. So that's it.
Not as bad as mi español, but I think you're going to be a hit here in the States if I have anything to do with it. I think people need to listen to Spanish language music more often. It's something that if you look at the global charts, right, that's what the world is listening to. You assume that American culture and music is dominating and has been for 100 years, but it's actually not true anymore.
Yeah. It's crazy what's going on, because as you're saying, if you see the charts, like Spanish music in Spanish is really like just hitting everywhere. And it's crazy because first it was like, oh yeah, because everything is like reggaeton and everything is like urban music, Bad Bunny, J Balvin, and everybody started to hear music in Spanish like without not noticing, because they wanted to dance,
Right.
And I feel like now the people is like, oh, we've been listening to all this music in Spanish, so maybe we can just not only hear to reggaeton, now we can just hear something else like folklore or pop or bachata. So yeah, it's crazy.
I was able to talk to the wonderful Gabby Moreno on this podcast, who has been in LA for many years, but brings a lot of music from South America into English and then back into Spanish. And I think there's almost like musical ambassadors that come to like show us these other worlds. And I think you're going to show us a lot of the traditional folklorico, like you said, acoustic music that, again, we don't necessarily hear outside of small villages or various places in Mexico. And there's something about the way you sing, especially in like your newest track, Tristeza, right? It's like there's like almost a flamenco bend. It feels almost like an Arabic connotation in some of these songs, where you can hear the music of the centuries filtering into your music, which is really beautiful.
Well, thank you. I think like what happens with my voice and with my vocals is that I come from Veracruz. It's a really culturally rich part of Mexico, region of Mexico. I mean, we have like, it's coast, so we have like this really Hispanic heritage,
Right.
heritage. And so we have a lot of, for example, flamenco in our
Mhm.
traditional music. Our traditional music is son jarocho. So you can see in the son jarocho this manner of singing without a microphone, right?
Right.
Ever. We never use microphones. And you know, our party, the way we party is playing jaranas or guitars,
Mm.
hundreds of people playing the jarana, and then one singer singing really, really, really loud um, in the middle of the crowd. And that's like a tablado in a way, you know, that's like flamencos do. And also we have like this heritage from Africa in
Mm.
Veracruz, because actually the first rebellion, the first pueblo liberado, I don't know how to say this, the first
Revolution kind of.
revolution, it was from the African people in
Mm.
Veracruz. So, I mean, the first revolution in Mexico,
Right.
it was actually African, and it was in Veracruz. So we have all this African instruments
Mm.
in our music, and also we have this really deep sense of rhythm.
Right.
We do this thing that is really African, you know, with the son jarocho. It's like this uh, dos por tres. It's a manner of feeling the, you know,
Mhm.
the.
Mhm.
That's actually African, but that's actually, you can hear that rhythm all around Latin America. So yeah, it is, you know, when I sing, I feel like all this, it's not like I'm thinking every time that I'm singing, oh, I need to show like all my culture in my voice. It's just the way I do, and I feel I do it the way I do because of all this richness from the place I grew up.
Well, that song Tristeza, it's like you're almost sounds like you're playing the rhythm on your body, right? Or like there's the drums start on you, right? Like the rhythm is
Yeah.
coming out of you and then it expands into this big cinematic, you know, technicolor
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, because you know, where I come from in Veracruz, that we don't have like, plenty of times we don't actually use percussion. We
Mm.
dance. We zapateamos, you know, with the feet. So we are like
Mm.
tuku 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 tuku
Right.
tuku tuku. Well, we are playing and dancing. So everything is from the body, and I guess that's, yeah. When we were recording Tristeza, I guess I was really trying to internalize the rhythm, just to be really clear with my vocals and with my instrument, like what what the feeling was, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, it's true what you're saying.
In a way, it reminds me of Southern blues, you know, how it started basically with people on a porch on a piece of land, just making their voice the speaker, right? Making their feet the drums and having to project for an audience without any hope of electricity. And that carries through into rock and roll, soul music, gospel music, you know, this
Yeah.
projection, you know. Um, you know,
Yeah.
when I was in Spain, I remember in Plaza Mayor, you could see the people sort of gathering around these flamenco singers, and you could hear that from 5 blocks away, right? It like reverberated throughout the plaza, you know, and it was
Yeah.
incredible. It's like otherworldly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I love that. I love what you're saying. It's really true. Like you can find like really similar ways to sing when you're talking about like folklore or really old ancient music, even if that music evolved, as you're saying, like with the blues and then the rock and gospel, like you can actually find the root on this kind of singing, because it is really like it is really like, you can actually hear, like sometimes when I'm listening to blues, I can hear the landscape, you
Mhm.
know. I can hear like the colors of the landscape in their voices. Or with the flamenco people, I can hear their dresses, the red. You know, it's really like, it's so connected to the culture, because people is actually making this statement of uh pertinence. Is that word exists? This sentence of uh yeah, of ¿cómo se dice pertenencia? Yeah, like they're sorry, they're belonging
Mhm.
to something deeper.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's if you really like get into these voices from all around the world, you can see the connection between them, because it's so beautiful, the way that people sing when they don't have anything more than their voices. And that um, evolved really similar in almost every single place, you know. I feel like every country we have like this moment in our lives where people were just singing because it was something to do. It was like praying, or like just spending time together, or just creating community. And that's the same everywhere at some point. People working in the field singing, people working in the city singing, people singing in the church, whatever the church religion is, you know. And I really love that about singing. That's probably my favorite thing, to feel that I'm belonging to something deeper, to a really deep necessity of the human soul.
Well, there's a famous story about the archivist Alan Lomax, who would go down to the South before a lot of the blues singers were discovered and brought to Chicago to really record and share their music. Muddy Waters, who's now one of the most famous, Chicago blues guys,
Yeah.
was working in a cotton field basically in Mississippi, but they would record him as he was playing for like some people on the farm. And then he listened to the recording and realized that he was like a star. He was like, well, why am I here? Like I belong somewhere else. He had to
Yeah.
hear himself for the first time to like realize the power of his instrument, and
Yeah.
you had so many people lost to history who maybe never got that chance, who were just
Yeah.
singing for their friends and family, and you grew
Yeah.
up, your parents are luthiers, right? So they were making instruments. So you were surrounded by all these different types of instruments, right? And do you play the Venezuelan cuatro? Is that your preferred instrument?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my instrument. I play the Venezuelan cuatro, the cuatro venezolano. But yeah, I grew up like my mom and my dad, they does, yeah. No, my mom does violins and violas, and my dad, he makes this beautiful double basses and cellos. And exactly, I grew up surrounded by uh, many instruments. When I was like 12, I did my own jarana, which is like a little guitar that we play down in Veracruz. And then suddenly I just found the cuatro venezolano in my dad's studio. And when I was like 15 or 16 years old, and I just felt in love like deeply, because the Venezuelan cuatro has this sound, like it's like it's so beautiful. It's like uh really dark in a way, uh but it's so soft because it's so small, but then it's really deep. uh the resonance cage, it's actually deep. So it's actually dark. It's a dark color, even if it's really lightly. I don't know if this makes any sense, but I just felt in love, and I started to compose that. When I first get to the cuatro and I started to play the cuatro, uh, it was also the first time that I started making songs, because sound was so beautiful that I just wanted to put something above this beautiful cuatro playing. So I started to create tunes because I didn't actually know how to play it, and I didn't know any music with cuatro, with Venezuelan cuatro. So yeah, I just started to make songs, and yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
I think there's, the more I talk to people and the more I look at some of my heroes, like, you know, Paul McCartney, who has no musical training, right? There's people I think who go to jazz school or have master's degrees in theory. There is something to be said about almost becoming too smart for your own good, that where you lose the childlike wonder of creating, where you just pick up an instrument and you have to learn it and you have to create something, right? I mean, I started actually on a Spanish guitar. My family goes down to Baja California and Mexico every year for Christmas, and the first guitar I actually bought myself was on the street in Mexico. It was like $20, and it was probably not a very good guitar, but it felt like mine, and it felt like something that I could do something special with. And I think that the soft tones of those strings, I think, were a much better thing to learn on than the steel string guitar, which can be kind of harsh on your fingers,
Yeah. No, I definitely think that you need to find like a gentle instrument to start when you're starting. I also believe that you sometimes not knowing how to play an instrument gives you a whole new way to see the music and to play the music. And sometimes I feel like gives you freedom in a way. I remember that I was actually studying jazz at the time that I started to play the cuatro, and I was starting like singing, and then I was really focused in like playing the piano, and I was just like learning all this harmony, and I was just like transcribing all this music, and I was transcribing like Charlie Parker solos, or I was actually transcribing
sounds like a lot of work.
It was I was also playing I was also playing the trumpet, and I was really like transcribing all this Chet Baker solos, and in the piano I was really like into Coltrane changes and all that stuff, and I was so like amazed by all these people. I was like, oh my god, these people are like geniuses. But at the same time, it was so hard to me to compose. I was trying at that time. I was also trying to create my own music, and I was so confused because when I was in the piano, I was just playing like this jazz thing, and I was like, this is not my language. Right. I'm sorry. This is not my spirit, and I love it. I really love it. I really wanted, to be like Ella Fitzgerald or Sarah
Don't we all?
Don't we all, right? So for me, when I started to play the cuatro without knowing anything, just two fingers, and then I had like this beautiful chord. I just kind of hear this ninth a major kind of chord, and then this like minor with the this extension. I don't know how to say this in English. I was so like surprised. I was just playing like a kid, and I feel that's so important in the creation process, to be surprised, just like wow, this is amazing. I don't know what's going on. I just want to play with this, just to have fun. And I feel that's something, it's really important actually. Like when you're learning music, it's really important just to have fun and just
Well,
to
you gotta
never
get
lose.
yourself. The song should be for yourself first, right? You have to thrill
Yeah,
yourself. You know, you have an audience of
yeah,
one
yeah,
inside you, kind of. And I'm curious
yeah.
about the song Marchita, which I think is the title track of the new album that will be coming out next year. Um, because you
See,
bring in this orchestra, or maybe it's a chamber, group, but
it's a
it's this
chamber. Yeah,
big
it's a chamber group.
big string sound that again starts from this little seed of you basically just in a room with your little guitar, and then it becomes this huge flower opening up. um, and the translation of lyrics online is probably very bad, right? But I'm a lyrics person first, so I have to dive in a little bit. uh, I apologize if the Spanish is really bad, but um, you have this opening line, "Te he perdido tantas veces." Um, I've lost you so many times, and it's interesting because Marchita and Tristeza, the two songs, are kind of almost like bookends, right? Where you
Yeah,
have this love affair blossoming, and then the flower withering, and the love fading away, and the sort of mourning of this person that was so important and now is gone, from your life.
yeah.
How did those two songs are those two songs related in your mind, story wise?
Yes, yes. For me, Marchita is like a story. I mean, it's the album, the whole album that I'm going to release next year. It's a whole story and it's a whole process. When I was writing these songs, I was actually into the post breakup kind of process, and for me, it was really important to just understand what was going on
Right.
at that time. I was like so sad, and you know, for me, like love can just sometimes can go wrong, and it's not. Sometimes it's nobody's fault.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's why I'm using like this parallelism between a flower and love. And then the flower, even if it's beautiful and it's like the sweetest thing, uh, gets withered. It's
Right.
withered. Also, love withered for me, withered. So, yeah, every song in Marita in the album, it's telling a story. So that's why um, Marchita and then Tristeza are connected, actually are in order. It's first Marchita and then Tristeza. And they're connected in this really beautiful way because Tristeza, it's like the first tune uh, uh, in the album where I try to say like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with sadness. Like I cannot be sad anymore. I don't want to. And Tristeza, and Marchita, it's like this boom thing. Marchita is like the climax tune. It's like a catharsis. I don't know how to say
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah.
It's a cathartic thing. So that's like, for me in my head, that was the order, the order, the the order that makes sense. First, like this cathartic thing, this moment, really powerful. Marchita, it's really, really powerful. It's like, for me, everything in this song is really powerful, because also, like, even having me playing by myself all the first half of a tune, it's really powerful, because I feel like there's nothing more powerful in the world than a tune that sustains itself with the
Right.
voice only, with the vocals and the little instruments. That's so also so vulnerable.
Right.
And in this album, I play a lot with the concept of strength and vulnerability, because I feel like those concepts are really in music and in life are really close.
Mm.
So yeah, that was the Marchita start with this really vulnerable but strength, you know, moment, and then all the strings are like this explosion, you know, and then Tristeza is like this more calm and actually like kind of meditativa. It's almost
Mm.
like a meditation for me. It's really repetitive, so it's like mantric to me.
Mm.
So it's like, yeah, it's actually closer to the ending. So yeah.
Well, the line de tu piel contra mi piel me ha costado tanto y tanto, right? The idea that
Mm-hmm.
this physical contact, this intimacy,
Yeah.
skin on skin, it's cost me so much. Like it's taken just as much as it's given, right? Because when
Yeah.
that intimacy is torn away, it feels like you're empty. It feels like you can't live, especially when you're young and in love. I was young and in
Yeah.
love once. It feels like your world is ending, right? It feels like nothing else can go on, even though
Yeah.
2 years from now, you won't even remember what that felt like, but it's great to
Yeah.
like capture that moment in a time capsule. Because look, you're
Yeah.
only 24 once.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. For me, it was really important just to put all that stuff like somewhere, you know, in poems or in this album, or because I was just feeling so much. And as you say, like this first love, it's always like you feel like there's nothing else, you know.
It's all
Um,
encompassing.
yeah, it's like there's no sense in life anymore. So for me it was really like, yeah, as you're saying, this tu piel contra mi piel, no, me ha costado tanto y tanto. It's like yeah, I don't know what to do after this.
Has the person that you were maybe referencing in this song heard Marchita or
I
Tristeza?
actually don't know. I actually don't know. I guess he did. I mean, but like we never, it's a really long story. I mean, he's really like far, like far, far away. So, yeah, I mean, you know how it is. I don't even feel that way anymore. It's
Yeah.
just, I really want, like, someday I will like call him and I will say like, hey, I really want to show you this, like, just for fun and just laugh about it, because now this is Marchita. It's really like intense and everything is like so dark, and everybody's like, oh my god, this is so like, in Mexico people is like, this is so deep, this is healing me, and I love that. For me it was healing too. But actually right now, if I think in the music, I love it. If I think in the story behind it, I can't relate anymore,
That's the beauty
so
of time.
that's
I mean,
actually,
time
yeah.
does heal you. It just takes time. I was about your age
Yeah.
when I had just a really awful breakup of a girl I moved out to California with, and it felt like the whole world was ending. Like you didn't actually have an identity anymore. Like it was like, who am I?
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah.
And then 4 or 5 years later, you don't even think about her. Like she's gone.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing
Yeah.
thing. And actually, as an artist, not like I recommend people having their heart broken, but you should have your heart broken at least once. It's good for you.
I do. It's good for you. Makes you a better person, let me
It
say.
does.
It does. You're more empathetic after that, because sometimes actually pain moves you through reality better than anything else. So you know at a time when I was actually making these songs, I was really like moving inside me. I was like searching for the words and for the melodies, and it was like I feel like I repasé, like if I studied a lot this like relationship and this breakup, and I felt like I was knowing everything, every detail. It was like I was on a it was I felt like I was a detective
Yeah.
searching for all these poems, you know, in my own soul. And I feel like that's a beautiful thing to do. Like, even if you're not an artist, even if you just give yourself the time to search inside you, just for a little time, it's really helpful just to understand. Also, like this album helped, and this story, this love song, love story, just helped me so much to also like deconstruct my idea of romantic love. And it was so important to me, that process.
Well, even going back to your 2018 EP, Primeras Canciones, where you have Te Guardo, right, which is now been listened to, what, 10, 14 million times, right? You released this yourself. Again, you're falling into this very deep, dark, destructive part of a love affair where you have kisses, one for each cheek, in a crystal abyss for each wound, right?
Yeah.
That's the English translation. I apologize. Thank you, Google.
Don't worry.
But
it's
again,
really like that. I love it.
it's like a 21-year-old is writing such dark things, and it's like we feel so much, I think, that it makes sense. I mean, honestly, it goes back to old school country music in the States, where every song in like the 40s and 50s is about my darling left me and I'm all alone. You know, it's like this very, very, what do you call it? Like you're deep within your own sadness. And that's something that is universal, right? It helps us get through it somehow by actually diving directly into it. Talk about, tell me a little bit about Te Guardo.
Te Guardo, it was really like the first song that I, not the first song that I wrote, the first song that I liked. You know, it was, Te Guardo has this like magical story. I just kind of saw this guy, like the guy who is machida too, you know, and I just saw this guy, and it was like, I don't know if it was love at first sight, but it was really close to that.
Right.
And I remember I saw him, and these words just like, it was like vomit, you know. I just thought, tengo tres caras posibles y tú me las quitas todas. You know, it's like I have three possible faces, and you, and I can use any of those faces when I'm with you, you know. And what I was trying to say is, when you look at me, I completely vulnerable. Like, I can't do anything. Like if you're close to me, I just it's like I disappear in a good way. Sometimes I feel like disappearing is really good. You know, I just forget about myself, and I'm something else new. I'm something really new when you're close to me. And that's, you know, that happened, that feeling happened just like for 30 minutes. And then I went home and I just wrote down this song like fully, like in an hour. I was like, I need to put this like here, and then I did this melody. So for me, the melody of Te Guardo, it's so like sweet. I love it actually, you know.
Well, it's almost like a pop. It's a pop melody, you know.
Yeah, it is really. It's not that folkloric though. Actually, it was really like, um, I don't know. I just did it, and I was, I remember at that time I was listening to like a lot of music from Colombia, like a lot of
Mm,
salsa and a lot of like even Colombian pop. And I just realized that was I took a lot of like salsa lines in that
mm.
Te Guardo song. Um, I guess you can't tell because this is like a ballad, like really pop ballad. But yeah, I took a lot of salsa lines, and I just did this tune like, yeah, in an hour. And I was 18 at that time.
Mm.
I released this song when I was 21, but I was 18 at the time. And that, that's that. I just, yeah, it's still one of my favorite songs.
Well, a lot of people, I think even in California, where we're surrounded by Latin American culture, music, food, again, we stay in our little comfort zones and we don't necessarily listen to some of the music that is coming up from South America. You talked about your love of the songwriter from Chile, Violeta de Carmen para Sandoval. And,
Hmm.
um, talking to you has helped me discover some music that, again, I try to listen to all sorts of music. I've never heard of her. It's like,
Yeah,
why? Like, why
yeah.
have I not? And now I hope people listening to this can discover some new music as well. Is there someone right now that you're listening to that we should hear?
A lot of people, but well, Violeta Parra, as you're saying, it's like my all-time inspiration. I
Mm,
love her. She did this song Gracias a la Vida, thanks thanks to life or something like that.
uh-huh.
And then she killed herself, and
Oh
it's really
God.
like her life. It's really like intense, but you listen to her music and she's always so grateful for everything. It's like, thank you for my own body. Thank you, sun, for being shining. Thank you. She's like so generous.
Mm.
And then she killed herself. It's just, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I love her. I also love Mercedes Sosa. I guess you know her
Mm.
because she's really like huge in Latin America. And my my inspiration now, it's Silvia Perez Cruz. I
Mm.
don't know if you know her. She's from Catalonia. She's from Barcelona, and she's like this force of nature. Uh,
Mm.
she's older than me, actually. I think she's 30 something or 40 something. And she's yeah, a force of nature. I don't know how to say this. Like, she's so powerful every time she's singing. And she has
Mm.
this thing, she like uh gets like all the Mediterranean way of singing
Mm.
in just her own voice. And it's like we were saying this. She took like all this, like all this, information from, I don't know, um, Italy, and then Spain, but also like Fado from
Mm.
Portugal. She just does her own thing, and it's beautiful. I think you really need to, not need to, but you will enjoy her voice and her music a lot.
It's funny, a guy like Paul, who has introduced me to you and various artists that I would not have heard of through the years. He's like again, he's like my musical ambassador to another universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been friends with him on Facebook for probably 13 years. And every few months it's like, oh, Silvana Estrada. I'm like, who the hell is this? And where is she? But he also
Yeah.
got me into this woman, Lido Pimienta from Colombia. Ooh,
Yeah, Lido.
oh my God.
Big
I mean,
time.
I bought that vinyl and I played it for like 3 straight weeks. And my wife was like, can we not again with Lido Pimienta? It's like primal chanting or something, this sort of group choir singing she has, and almost like marching. And it reminds me of the New Orleans sort of Indian music, a lot of the
Yeah.
traditions that come from the Cajun music. It's in the United States technically, but it feels like it's from another planet when you go to New Orleans and you see everyone dressed up with these headdresses. It actually looks similar to like what she's wearing, like in her
Sorry,
album.
I'm losing you. Sorry.
Oh, you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear, but I'm
Okay.
sorry. You were saying about Lido Pimienta. That reminds you a lot to the New Orleans.
Yeah, the sort of headdresses and the Indian dancing, and
Yeah.
there's this very primal, ancient power that's emanating from both of these
Yeah.
traditions. And where I am somewhat familiar with the New Orleans stuff, I've never seen what she's bringing, and I love, that exists and is starting to filter into our brains in the States, like slowly.
Yeah. Yeah. She's really, I also love her, man. Like she's so fresh. Like she has all these colors.
Right.
Like not only like in her outfits or in her shows, like she has all these colors in her voice. And she's like so lightful all the time. Because I think she's indigenous and she's from I don't know if she's from Cali or where in Colombia, but she uses the tambores, like the percussion from Venezuela, so beautifully all the time. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm a fan. I also have her vinyl, and yeah, she's the best. Yeah.
And you started when you were a kid, you started singing like Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday, that kind of stuff at home.
Yeah.
Did your parents worry that you were too serious as a young artist, like writing songs like Carta, where you're like the unbearable seriousness that terrifies us? Like, shouldn't you be out there writing happy songs? Like, what's wrong with her? Is she okay?
My dad was worried. My mom, she was like, oh, she's okay. She's just a teenager. But my dad, he was like, I think she needs to go to therapy. And I was like, come on, I'm really happy. I'm just doing like poems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my dad, he was worried. But I'm actually a really happy person. Like
I
I'm
believe you.
always laughing, and I'm always laughing, and I'm always like making jokes, and I'm not like, I feel like I have a deep connection with sadness, and I think that's good. And also I feel like in Mexico we have this connection with this, we have different ways to see sadness or even the death. I mean, we have the Day of the Dead, and it's actually like a happy party for us.
Right.
We have all this, the way we party in Mexico. It's like we drink, we get really drunk, and then we put like this really sad music, like really, really sad music, like Jose kind of songs, or Juan Gabriel kind of music. And then we sing, like we scream, like "Qué triste fue decirnos adiós." We start to cry. That's the way we party. You know, we don't dance, we don't talk. We at some point we just cry. So I feel like that's, I don't know, that says something about the way we in Mexico are so connected to sadness or you know, difficult feelings.
Well, it's like
And
real intense feeling, which I think we avoid most of the time in everyday life, right? If you're just walking down the
yeah,
street, you're not going to start laughing and then crying, or people might think you're insane, right? But like
yeah.
music allows us to like feel more in a
Yeah.
sane way.
No, of course. Music is freedom, really, really, especially like right now where when we are so busy and people is so lonely all around the globe because the way we construct our societies, you know, um, like music allows us just to feel, cry or laugh or just to feel. Sometimes we don't have time for that anymore. You know
Speaking
what
of
I mean?
feeling, you're in Washington, D.C. right now. A lot of
Yeah.
this is the first time you're seeing some of the states, right? What is your
Yes.
first impression of our very strange, very large country?
It's very large. It is very large. I've been driving, I mean, we've been driving uh, a lot these days. And, you know, my impression is really like you have this huge country, you have all this richness, like cultural richness, you have all this, I don't know, cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you're not enough conscious and grateful for that. You know, it's like maybe because it's the way it is, and you know, it's just the way it is. But for me, it's like I would be so grateful if I just walk 2 blocks and then I have a sushi restaurant, and just in front of that I have like a Mexican bookstore, and then I have like this beautiful Chinese garden, or you know,
Mm-hmm.
like you have all this stuff, and it's amazing. And you have like all this music. Like I've been hearing music from here, from United States, like all my life, and
Right.
and it's awesome. And also like I'm always searching for these connections from Mexican music and you know New Orleans music, you know, or Brazilian music and blues, or you know, I'm always looking through for this musical connections, and you have so much here, so much. Like you have the blues, you have New Orleans second line, you have the jazz, you have country, bluegrass,
I'm sorry for
Appalachian.
I'm sorry for the country music. I'm just gonna
No,
apologize for that.
no, I liked it. You have so much. And again, like I don't know if you're aware of that. Like I don't know if you're enough grateful and happy for that, because it's una bendición, it's a bliss. So that's my feeling about United States.
Well, I think it is amazing when the different cultures, different viewpoints can accept each other in some way, right? Uh, I think a lot of times we are pitted against each other, where we're
Yeah.
told that um, us liberal intellectuals in California uh, are looking down upon the working class people of Alabama and Mississippi, or that people who live in a certain rural existence can't understand the full global beauty of the world, right? That we're very
Right.
small thinking people at times. And unfortunately, it's borne out in how people vote, how people
Yeah.
treat people
Yeah.
from other countries, how they view
Yeah.
immigrants. And people are
Yeah.
scared by the unknown, right? So
Yeah.
there's always this fear of Mexicans coming across the border to steal our jobs, or, you know,
Yeah.
uh, things that they don't even know, right? Whereas
Yeah.
uh, really the best part about this country is that we are all immigrants, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, nobody existed here, like 400 years ago, except the native populations, right?
Yeah.
So everybody is an immigrant coming here. So
Yeah.
it's ridiculous when people are afraid of the next wave of immigrant, because like that was you
Yeah.
not that long ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that is what makes America so beautiful, is the layers of immigration that create all these different cultures. And I always say that the best part of like a big city like LA is that we have everybody. Like we have
Yeah.
everything. It's like the greatest
Yeah.
hits, right? I can go last night on the way back from a show on Sunset Boulevard and get 10 different types of tacos at midnight,
Yeah.
like I'm in another country. And that's the best part, is that it's not clear where I am. It's like I could be in
Yeah.
Chiapas, it's awesome. But I'm right in Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really, for me, that's something that blows my mind every time that I'm here. It's so beautiful. And I know what you're talking about. Like I also feel this thing when people is scared about other cultures, or scared about the unknown, as you were
Mhm.
saying. And I also think that music has the power of uh, fight against
Yeah.
the scare, you know, um, the miedo. I feel like music is this, again, music is freedom. And I feel like uh, for me, of course, I know the troubles that Mexican people are having, just crossing the border, and it's really sad. And also, for me, my music, I really want to be this space, where people can actually see that there's no danger
Mhm.
in our culture. There's no danger in us, and there's no and it's actually a beautiful thing to uh, get to know better your Mexican neighbor, or your Peruvian teacher, or whatever.
Right.
I'm just saying that music has this power, and for me, that's something really important that I've been living through this tour with Rodrigo y Gabriela. You know, uh, they have like this non-particularly Latin audience. Actually, the audience is really like just regular kind of North American, people. And every time that I sing at the end, there's people crying, really,
Mm.
or really, really moved. And they are not understanding what I'm
Right.
saying, but they are feeling it. And I love that about being here, to see how music is able to just go uh, without any language boundary. There's no wall for
Right.
music, right? So that's something that really makes me almost cry every night. It's like I can't believe that this is happening. I'm just opening my heart, and I'm just being really honest about what I want to say. And these people who doesn't speak Spanish at all, they're getting it. They're getting it perfectly.
Llorando.
Yeah. So I love that. I love that about being here. That's probably my favorite thing.
What is the song that you play that makes people cry? Or is it a different one each night?
Um, I think it's different, but mostly La Llorona, which is a traditional song from Mexico. I don't know if you know about the song. It's like, ay de mi llorona, llorona, llorona de un campo lío, el que no sabe de amores, llorona no sabe lo que es el martirio. And it's really like about this lady who is just singing and searching for her love. So
I think there was
people,
a scary movie that came out called La Llorona.
La Llorona, yeah, because it's actually a scary thing because it's, you know, the like the person, the Llorona, La Llorona, is this lady who is searching for her family, and she's actually a ghost. So she's like in this white dress, just like floating around, crying and saying, "Ay, mis hijos," because she's just searching for her children. She's like, "My children, my children." So they say, like, if you're in a forest or in the field, like really late, you will hear, "My children, mis hijos, mis hijos," and you will see this lady with really long hair, white dress, just floating. But that's the story of this. And then there's La Llorona, the music and the song. And it's, yeah, they just took the idea of this person and put it into this beautiful song. And yeah, I think people doesn't actually know about this story, you know. And
Do
even
people in
that, they're so
Mexico
moved.
do people in Mexico who are more comfortable with the transition from, I think, the living and the dead, with Dia de los Muertos being like a fiesta? It's not like a sad day. It's like a celebration of life.
Yeah.
Are you still scared by like ghosts? If you see something very spooky or unknown, does it scare you still? Or is it just like, oh yeah, that's my grandmother. She's been dead for 10 years. Hola, abuela.
Hola, abuelita. Well, I think I'm not afraid of it. I'm really like pragmatic. Is that what exists? Pragmática. So it's not that I don't believe in ghosts. I do believe in ghosts, but I'm like, for example, the other day, it was really late and I saw this like lightning and I was really about to sleep. And I was like, I don't have time for this. I really need to sleep. So just go. And I say it out loud. I said like, vete, que tengo que dormir. And then I went to sleep and I just fall asleep, you know. I really like, so yeah, I guess I'm not like scared about these things because, you know, we have all this, I'm not religious at all, but you know, we have all this ideology of dead people just coming to say hi once a year, and it's like the happiest day of our lives because then abuelita and abuelito and all our families are visiting us, right? So after that, they're like, how cool is that, right? So yeah, I guess I'm not scared about it.
My grandmother just passed away a week or so ago, and
I'm
you know,
sorry.
I like, you try to call her every week or so, and now it's like you go to call her and there's no one there, right? But we still have
Yeah.
her portrait. We have this old 80s portrait that we took from her house that's in our music room. So it's like she's kind of like watching
Yeah.
over us, you know?
Yeah.
If you could have a conversation with anyone in history who is no longer living, who would it be?
That's a hard question. I guess Probably, probably Chet Baker.
All right.
Just to ask him, like, he never learned music. I mean, he wasn't able to read music. He was really like not a schooled uh, guy, and he was creating these beautiful solos, like so much information on his
Right.
music. And I guess I just want to know how his brain works. And he has also this like really harsh live and with drums, like all this
Yeah.
jazz guys. Um, but yeah, I guess I will. And he must be like, he was so handsome. So I guess yeah, I will talk to him.
There's a movie that I forget the name of it. Ethan Hawke played him. Really beautifully
Oh
done.
yeah.
And they
Yeah.
showed this scene where he
Yeah.
is at a club in New York and he's singing, and
Yeah.
a lot of the greats of that time, Miles Davis, Dizzy
Yeah.
Gillespie, they sort of like looked down on him at first because like, oh, you're singing just to impress the ladies or to,
Yeah.
get people to actually show up like you're a pop star. You can't really play. And then
Yeah.
he goes into his solos and they're like, oh, he can play. you know,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
just
I remember
feeling it
that
so
scene.
deeply.
Yeah. I remember that scene. I love that movie. And is it Ethan Hawke? Yeah, right.
Yeah. What was that movie called?
I don't remember. But he crushed it. Like he was a perfect Chet Baker. I remember that scene. And I remember like every time he was singing, and everybody was like so like moved. It was different, right? It was like,
Born to Be Blue. It's called Born to Be Blue from
oh
2015.
yeah, we, and that's a beautiful song. That's a beautiful tune. Yeah, Born to Be Blue. Yeah, I love it.
So when is Marchita coming out? Do you know yet?
Yeah, the 20 something. Actually, I don't know if I can say this, but it's the 2023 of January next year. So it's every day closer and closer.
Let's just say that maybe it'll come out on the due date of when my baby's supposed to be born.
Oh my God, are you having a baby?
Yeah, right in that exact time.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
You
Do
heard
you
it
know
here
if it's gonna
first, folks.
be? Well, congratulations. Do you know if it's gonna be like her or he or
We are going to be
they?
surprised. We are
Oh,
not going
really?
to find out until the day.
All right. All right. Well, I love it. I love it. Well, then it's a good sign, I guess.
Can you take us out by singing a little bit of one song from the upcoming album, or is it top secret?
No, it's not. It's not top secret. But do you want me to sing it here
Yeah, or just
right
like
now?
yeah, why not?
All right. Let me. All right. This is Casa. It's
Okay.
a really beautiful song about my home in Veracruz. Um, mm, Mi casa es un recuerdo primavera de pálidas plegarias sin Dios. Mi casa es lo que queda del verano, de aquella insoportable inundación. Y entiendo que la vida me reproche insólita vejez del corazón. Mi casa es una estrella que se apaga, que triste se despide de mi voz, que triste se despide de mí.
Otra. That was awesome. Thank you for that. Well, I hope people can open their minds a little bit, not just during Latin Heritage Month, but actually listen to music that comes from other places in the world, that has different languages, has different points of view, because it expands our empathy and our brains. I think we need it. I think we need it a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you. We need that in our lives, in our societies, and in our countries.
And you guys are not playing LA on this run, right? Or did I miss it?
No, we're not. I'm playing in LA next year. I'm touring again next year. And now it's going to be like my tour. I don't. Maybe Edwin knows. I don't.
Well, please drop me a line when you're here.
Of course. Thank you so much. I really like this program. Hopefully my English is not that bad. And
it's perfecto.
Was actually a nice a nice chat. And again, thank you for inviting.
Thank you very much. When I think whenever you have the audio, just you can send it to Paul or send it to showontheroadpod@gmail.com, which I can send to you right now. showontheroadpod@gmail.com, because the sooner I have this your end, then I can start editing. So I'd like to actually try to get this out next week.
All right, perfect.
Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your tour.
Thank you very much.
Don't eat McDonald's while you're here.
I'm trying not. Really, I'm trying not. It's not the easiest thing when you're on the road, but I'm trying eating.
There's good burgers like not in the corporate world. There's like homemade local burgers,
Yeah, actually. but they're not on the road. Really, believe me. They're not on the highway.
That's true. All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
See you soon.